I don't see that as an official committee.
Yeah.
I see that as making some recommendation that we can push to the unit owners.
Right, it's more of a recommendation that we're saying that we could include a flyer in the newsletter. We could post it on the boards, and for the renters that may not get the newsletter, we could hand carry it to them. She's ordered and has decals to put on all the garbage cans, so we can do that. The people don't realize that you can't put in plastic bags there, that they can be recycled at the grocery store.
Could we include this in a newcomer's packet? And
Yes, that's what
maybe
we're
post
going
a
to
sheet of this?
I think part of what we need to work on is, or one of the committees needs to work on something that Mike brought up, and we should have like a welcome catalog, like a book that's got a whole bunch of information in it.
I can send you a sample of what I have.
And it could have like phone numbers for the hospital and that kind of stuff in
We
it.
used to have that.
Waste management is a single stream recycling thing, so if you throw it in a recycling bin, they sort it out. And, but you can help them by not putting plastic bag, your plastic garbage bag into the recycling bin, because then they gotta rip it open.
I wouldn't have any problem posting those single sheet of what to recycle and what not on the community bulletin boards.
We have signs in the dumpsters, and yes, the other day I had to break down 2 boxes and throw a toilet seat out. Because no one could lift the, come on. And it's a problem.
Some people go and they can't, and they don't want to be bothered to lift the lid on the dumpster and just throw the garbage on the ground.
Exactly.
We're picking it up all the time.
All the time I'm breaking down boxes.
I think as a general, you can post this stuff, but people don't read it. It goes back to you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And that's exactly what happens. They go to the dumpster and they look, and the first cover that they get to, they open it up, and whatever they got in their hand, they throw in there. There's food garbage in the recycling bins. There's all kinds of stuff, and all that stuff is posted, and people just disregard it. But so I think, it's worth trying to notify them.
Anything else that needs to be
That's how that welcoming book would work too. It's like when the
Right.
renter checks in, then you hand them the booklet, and it's got all this recycling information. It's got stuff about everything else.
But we did have a start, we just asked if we could at least post it on the boards, and we got the decals that we could put out, at least start.
All right.
The Design Review Committee, this is their mission statement, strives to provide consistent information to all unit owners so that windows, doors, and patio enclosures adhere to the architectural integrity of River Club.
All right, last but not least is security.
We've had 2 meetings, as you can see in the summary notes. So I'm providing you with a mission statement here. The Security Committee is to assist the board in identifying security issues at the River Club and to explore potential solutions and recommend improvements to the River Club board. Some of the discussions we've had involve the perimeter and entry points of the River Club. The Beacon Hill was one that I think you're all familiar with, where the old fence was broken down and people could cut through into the property. The board has addressed this. There's been new fencing to prevent that. There's another entry point over next to Building 5 where the wall opens up between the shrubbery, and that is used as a cut-through by folks that are not residents of the River Club. The entrance in the front, as we all know, is cars can come and go at will. There are some potential tools that we have investigated to the River Club that we're exploring right now. There's a security lecture meeting that we can have here for our residents. The Sheriff's Office would like us to get back to them with 3 dates where they would come in and sit down and do the lectures and the what not to do and what to do. On March 7th at 10 a.m., Tricia, if I get the pronunciation of her last name right, Mikulkavaka, is the crime prevention person from the Martin County Sheriff's Office. She would be more than happy to come here with myself and the other members of the committee or the board and do a walkthrough of our facility, pointing out what might be vulnerable and what might not be. On March 15th, the Stewart Women's Club is having a sheriff's talk at 11 a.m. on East Ocean Boulevard. Maybe something our folks want to attend. We, as the committee, could post that on the bulletin boards. I know the board is currently, through Phil, looking at our entry cameras. Current cameras are not adequate. They're just not up to date to be capturing the images we would want from a security perspective, i.e. license plates, etc. I have looked into a gated solution in the front. I know there's been discussion of that over the years and the cost and the turnaround, etc., etc. And you have a pretty detailed guesstimate of a full-blown, fully automated nine-man system. Some of the suggestions from our committee also was the speed bumps versus a gate to allow perhaps a lower cost solution on cameras to cause the cars to slow down. Because the current system, the car is going through at a little higher rate of speed, the image is blurred. Motion sensor lights in designated areas were also a suggestion. Common element master keys. I'm not sure, I'm not aware, but how long has it been since we've changed the master key of all the common elements? Another thing that was brought up was the dock access to the River Club property. I mean, we could come in here by boat also. And what we posted here is our next meeting is on March 10th at 10 a.m. in the clubhouse, and you have the agenda that's been set for that. Questions?
Well, I mean, my only question is, what is the concern or the fear to spend a lot of money on implementing all these different things? And the other comment I'd like to make is, yes, the cameras that are at the entranceway they're probably 12 or 13 years old.
Right.
But they still work fine. The problem the night their car was stolen was we were able to determine that no vehicle came into the property for 3 hours before we saw the Jeep leave that was stolen. And it was raining that night, so there was water on the lens. So basically, no matter what you do, you're gonna have that situation. I mean, so there's things that happen, like after the hurricane, somebody dumps some debris in the dumpster, and so it costs us $200 to empty the dumpster. My view is you can spend a lot of money. I agree, I think we need to update the cameras, but I think we need to also look at maybe adding cameras in some areas or changing the location of cameras. I mean,
well, to address that point, I'm hoping that the Warren County Sheriff's Office will highlight what they see as vulnerable points.
This is a report that we got back from the Sheriff's Department. It says here, unfortunately, the surveillance video did not show enough detail at night to allow me to identify the stolen vehicles or any other possible suspected vehicles as they drove in or out of our neighborhood, out of the neighborhood. The cameras at the gate, everybody said, were totally degraded. They're useless. You can't see anything at night. During the daytime, you can see everything on the back of a car, front of a car, side of a car, whatever. But at night, all you see is red lights and a big flash right now going by. So we have to come up with some cameras that are going to work at night. Carl Peterson, who put these cameras in years ago, has also said that they were pretty much shot. So he's gave me a recommendation for some cameras. Carl quoted this for someplace around $1,800. I think it's going to be closer to $5,000 because
The reason why we voted the pickleboard court out, because there wasn't a huge interest in the pickleboard court. And so we couldn't spend your money because 5 people wanted it. What I would like to see the board do is find out how many people are interested in a huge amount of money to be spent on security, to see if there's a huge support of the money to be spent on security and not something versus landscaping or something versus technology that we can pay for.
You look at over a period of time of budgeting money towards security. Say you're not going to do it all at once, you can't afford it, but maybe the next thing we do X, Y, Z, or we do something else. And instead of just not looking at it and dismissing it, you may make a piecemeal decision and saying, no, aware of it, maybe you are, Ken, and talking to the insurance broker. Does that help in reducing our insurance premiums? Both the community and ours, our personal homeowners insurance.
What would the condo insurance folks individually get anything?
you're not desperate.
Right.
Well, that's the question we could ask.
If you are not a full-time resident, it makes
what, I don't understand your
Your
question.
insurance is more costly
Oh,
without a
for
gate.
you individually.
For individual people, if you are not living on the property the full year.
Yeah, and that's mainly because of the, water issues when somebody,
No,
somebody's
no,
toilet
it's
breaks.
specifically theft and vandalism piece of your insurance that is reduced if you have a gated community.
Okay, one of the other things is, Bonnie brought it up about, do we have the finances to do this? Actually, we really do. We have $10,000 that we could work with, because I just signed a check for our insurance, which was $157,000 some odd dollars, say 158 round figure. We put $168,000 into our budget for the insurance, so we have $10,000 to spend on this if we need to spend it. We could pull that there.
Yeah, we don't have it though.
I think we need to figure out what we want to do before we decide how much we're going to spend. I mean, I'd like to see that Martin County report, and then maybe we can put a program together that takes a year, but then it's what we want in the very end
Well,
of the
it could be,
situation.
yeah, it could be budgeted.
Yeah.
$1,800 quote that Phil's got from Carl's got no labor in it either, and I'm not so sure that he's gonna be willing to install and maintain.
I talked to him about that, and I offered to take him, see if we could talk to the board about getting some money. And he said, personally, he says he's not worried about that. He's more worried about the security in here than that.